Anyone? Roux is clarified butter and flour. Equal amount, not per volume, per weight. So 1 pound, 1 pound. So using low-fat milk. Remind me of Italy. We tried to milk the cow. Yeah, it was an adventure.
That was an adventure.
Was it hard? Was it hard?
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta pull hard.
it's a huge animal. And then you underneath it, with that hoofs, you know. And then you mess up with the other, excuse me. He ask you first, can you buy me a drink before you have So, we need to infuse the milk before we get it in there with a little bit of bay leaf and cloves. I have a fresh bay leaf. I know some of you say, oh, you come fresh? Yeah, you do come fresh. Whole cloves. Little incision here. And we can insert the bay leaf. And that's actually to get the flavor of the milk. Cloves and onion and a bay leaf combination, the milk becomes a little bit creamier. That's why we put that combination. Now you're going to ask why we putting it all together in one. Because you are a chef and you have no time to pick one piece at a time. So you can take all of them, throw them away one step, rather than picking this and picking, so that's the whole idea. Of course, nowadays, too much waste, because you throw in the onion and the bay leaf. You can chop a little bit of onion with the bay leaf, a couple of ground cloves, and then you strain it. I mean, again, that's the evolution of food. It's still the same flavor profile, but a little bit technique modification. So this is here. Now we're going to do the roux. Putting this over here. Get it on low heat. And then we'll do the roux. Clarified butter. When we say clarified butter, that means you're taking all the impurity or water out of the butter. That's the whole idea. So, including the whey that's on top here. So, all these can be used. We don't throw them away. And then we take the clarified butter here. It's not completely clarified, but to clarify it, you gotta put it on very low heat. Allow all the sediment comes to the top. I had another ladle here, smaller ladle. So you skim in the top by pushing it to the side and just catching it right there. You still can keep all that and use it for soup or use it for sauteing. You don't want to really use too much sauteing, especially veggie, with clarified butter. It looks rather greasy.
Yeah.
I rather use
that.
whole butter. Huh?
I tried that, and
Yeah,
you're
it's a
absolutely
little
right.
greasy.
Uh-huh.
Just a little bit more here. Now we're going to add a little bit of flour, and we're going to make a paste. Again, wooden spoon. And you cannot go away when you are making roux. You gotta stay right there. And you gotta keep stirring it. Of course, there is different variety of temperature that you can cook your roux. So if you are using this for, say, bechamel, so you want a very light blonde roux. But you need to cook the flour. You gotta make sure the flour is cooked. Otherwise, it will taste raw. And you find out when the flour is done, that's almost like hazelnut smell. So if you guys want to smell here, you get almost like a hazelnut. Yeah, you gotta practice to smell that, because that's how you wanna judge the roux. You cannot rush it. And as it gets darker, then you can use it for different application. But for a white sauce, bechamel or velouté, you want to make it light blonde. How about the roux that you are making for gumbo? Okay, the roux that you're making for gumbo is totally different story, different method, very classic, because you're gonna roast the flour first. So the flour will go in a pan, and you get them in the oven to roast. And then you add the fat into it. Again, underline that, fat, no butter. Chicken fat, bacon fat, lard, because that's what you used to use in those days. Butter was an expensive commodity, so the household only use it, but all the help will use all the byproducts, such as the grease and the lard and rendering the chicken skin to make a chicken fat. But you gotta cook them separately and then mix them together. Question? I saw someone was hand somewhere. No questions? So this is done. You can either add hot roux to cold milk, or you can add cold roux into hot milk. But you cannot put them together if they are at the same temperature. If you put them together at the same temperature, then you are not going to get a good viscosity. That means you are not going to get good reading about the thickness of the sauce. So you have to be different when you mix them together. I usually try to take that as a lower pan, and then I get my milk hot. I'm making my roux like a medium to thin, because I'm going to use it for cooking, say, macaroni and cheese. So the roux or the velouté, you can utilize it to cook different dishes. Of course, there's a lot of sauces. When we say mother sauces, that means there is lots of derivative sauces. You add one ingredient into it, and it becomes a new sauce. If you take it from here, add a little cream and a little bit of sherry wine, is a sauce supreme. If you add the cheese into it, and then it becomes au gratin. So any time that you add simple stuff into it, then it becomes a new sauce. And that's why they call these mother sauces, because you can take from it and make different ones. A pinch of nutmeg. Again, all these sweet spices, it elevates the creamy flavor of the milk. We just scald in the milk. You don't want it boiling or too hot. Now, if I'm going to use my bechamel to say make cheese sauce, so I can make a macaroni and cheese, it's very simple, and you can actually make fantastic macaroni and cheese. I know we always intend to put milk and cheese over the top and go through it in there. Oh, that's how my grandmother do it. Well, this is a good way of really making creamy, not dry macaroni and cheese by using your mother's sauce. Not that mother. All right, this is ready. Now I can take my aromatics here. And yes, you cannot use it for something else because it has the cloves and the bay leaf, maybe a little bit too much of flavor. Using the soft whisk. And again, even when you are whisking with metallic, go gently, you don't have to dig into the pot. Just turn my fire down. I'm going to take some of the milk, add them right here, because I want to get all them through. Here we are. And I know sometimes you take that to the dish room and it's already half the products in it. I know. Imagine if you are paying for all that. Butter is not cheap, by the way. I don't know if you guys do any shopping. All dairy products is really becoming so expensive. Yeah. Even there is a lot of cheeses and butter, but the farmers actually throw them away so the price won't go down. You notice that I didn't add any salt or pepper because this is your mother's sauce. You want to leave it as plain as you can because you're going to add different things into them. So if you start with salty or peppery, then it's very hard to mix it with anything else. Let's say I'm going to take my bechamel and I make a clam chowder. The clam juice is salty, the clam itself is salty. Then when you have salt to begin with, then it will be over salty. So I'm just trying to get a nice consistency. And once it comes to a boil, that means it's ready to go. So don't just allow it to sit and boil. If you allow it to boil for too long, then it will break down. It's a starch. So here we are. So we're just looking into nice consistency because we're going to add cheese into it. If you are, say, using that for the soup, you make it a little bit thicker. So it depends on the application that you are using the mother's sauce for. You can control the viscosity, either thin, medium, or thick. Any question?
No, chef.
No?
How long does this keep for if you put it in the fridge?
Well, this keeps at least for 3 days. Remember, we like to make fresh. Regardless what you do with the leftover, sauces or food, you still have that hint of leftover in it. So let's just It's getting there, so we check the viscosity by taking a spoon like this, and you see getting a little bit thick right there. And then if you need it thicker, then you add more. So this is going to be to the point that it covers completely the spoon as it finished. But you gotta keep stirring. You cannot just leave it and walk away because all the flour will go to the bottom and then it will burn or scorch. Okay. Here we are. I'm just gonna allow this to set. Now I'm gonna do a simple cheese sauce to go with the macaroni and cheese. So we're gonna do the macaroni and cheese here. Once I finish this, I will give you a little break because it's gonna be cooking. By the time we get back, it will be ready to go. So we got a little bit of spire or rotelli here, or fusilli. Sometimes if you are from a different region in Italy, we just call the pasta different names. Even you're familiar with this name, oh, it's fusilli. But when you go there, it's like, pasta. So you don't have to give it any name. Just like when you go into the farm, you're making cheeses, and you have this, okay, what is this? This Parmesan? No, cheese. There's no particular name on any cheeses. I mean, it can be like 6 months or French, no, cheese. But we are obsessed with names or labels or brands. So this is nice and creamy. I have your favorite cheese today. The yellow cheese.
The cheese. Cheese.
Cheddar. The yellow. That's everybody's favorite. So I have a mixing bowl somewhere, the large one. Oh, okay.
Never mind.
Okay. See, I was ready.
Yes, you were.
Actually, I stopped getting that stuff yesterday after you guys left, and then I have a brave soldier to help me in the morning.
That gotta be Debbie.
I have Debbie
Got to be
and Danny.
Debbie, my Debbie. And Danny, that's
Danny.
right.
Danny,
D. D&D.
no Donnie, Danny. But sometimes I mix them together. Remember, it's macaroni and cheese. That means it should have macaroni and cheese. When it's hot, just make sure you put something on that surface. Now we're going to add our pasta. Not to worry, I washed my hand yesterday. I don't know why you guys panicking. That's good. Now we're going to mix it together. No, thanks. So you want it really loose. You don't want to over salt him because the cheese is also salty. You can use any variety of cheeses. It's just happening that I have this.
Could you add Parmesan if you wanted to?
You can. Now I'm going to add a final thing. I'm going to add a little bit of an acidic element into it. A little bit of squeeze of lemon or lime. A little bit of white pepper.
White.
White pepper, you don't want black pepper. Because,
It shows.
yeah, you think that you put your ash from the cigarette over here. All right.
Why do we add lemon?
Now we're going to pour it right here.
Sure.
See, precisely measured.
Chef?
Yes.
Sure. Why do we add lemon?
Oh, the lemon will give you that little bit of fresh taste right in the end. Even some recipe will say put little champagne vinegar in the end to give you that little bite. It's just a layer of flavors. Even a simple macaroni and cheese was a big deal, but still make a big difference. Now we're going to add some over the top.
You can have breadcrumbs too, right, sir?
No breadcrumbs. No. Breadcrumbs, this is the cheapest method of making your macaroni and cheese. There's some other cheeses in there, I don't want to use no more. I have some brie. Now we're going to really treat this to it. So if you have any good cheeses, don't hesitate to use them. But I usually try to not to use the skin.
Is there a maximum amount of cheeses, different cheeses you should use?
At least 3 or 4 cheeses. It should be all soft kind of cheese. Even for the one they say Parmesan. Parmesan not considered soft cheese, but it's a good idea to use soft. So I'm going to just take a little bit of the brie and just dip over the top. Remember, brie have like 75% fat. That means it's good. Not necessarily healthy. Here we are. And this, I'm going to turn our convection oven on. Because I want to get done today, 450. And then it takes about 15 minutes to be ready. So I'm going to give you a 15-minute break to clean my mess, and I'll see you later.